Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jackson, your host. Thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas to you and yours as we're into certainly this week. It's an exciting time here in Lancaster. It certainly seems like Christmas everywhere you go, downtown, to the malls, everywhere, music on TV and the radio. Everything is all Christmas oriented, so we're all excited about that. And we thank you for joining us on this last show prior to Christmas. We're glad you're with us. Our first guest on the show today, we had him on a few months ago to talk about basketball, of all things, sports, which we love to talk about. But he's a local boy that everybody knows the name, McKnight. Everybody recognizes that name, and this is kind of the first one in a long line of good basketball. I guess we include your dad in there as maybe the first named McKnight, but you were of your brothers, you're the oldest.
Yes, sir.
Phil McKnight is with us, played at Lancaster High School, and that's really where so many people remember that McKnight name, because there were, I don't know how many years consecutively almost, that there were McKnights at Lancaster High School. You had three other brothers.
Yes, sir.
All played basketball for Lancaster High School. Did they all play for Jack? Or was Jack left after?
Yeah. So three of us played for Jack. Chris actually got to play for him as a freshman. Okay. He was a freshman when Kyle's senior year.
Okay.
And then after that, John Kaufman
took over. He was the varsity assistant.
Yes.
I always felt that I kind of blamed your mother for Jack's leaving because there were no more McKnights. So Jack knew if there are no more McKnights, I'm not going to coach here because my son Kyle is gone, and now the McKnights are gone. It's going to be a little tougher to play here. But boy, you guys really turned basketball around, made it just such a huge sport here at Lancaster. Thanks for, what all your mom and dad, and I know your dad was a big influence in your life.
Yes.
Certainly your biggest coach probably for a lot of years. Went to a lot of games. I can't imagine how many games your mom and dad must have gone to with four boys playing all the sports you guys played.
Oh yeah. Trying to balance, go from here to there. When we got to college, they would split up and one would go here. I was going to say one have to, because you guys all played D1, right? I played D2. The other three boys played D1.
But everybody had games every weekend throughout the week, and so it was divide and conquer. That's probably all your mom and dad could do. Well, now we've got Phil on now. What's that been? I don't know if it's been 20 years since you were at Lancaster High School, 20, maybe 15 to 20 years, and you are now a coach, and you have coached for 16 years at different levels, Biddy League all the way up to the Lancaster Thunder. I mean, high school coaches, and you must enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah. There's nothing else that I'd rather do, honestly. Getting back into it now has been probably the most humbling, but also the funnest thing that I've done, because I stepped away. I just couldn't be around my daughter as much as I wanted to be. Then they asked me to do this, and then getting back to this point, there's nothing else that I'd rather do. I eat, sleep, and drink this game. It's my passion, and I feel like God has put me here to be able to give back the way that I've had coaches give to me in the past.
Well, you are the coach of the Lancaster Thunder. They're in their second season?
Yeah, this is actually our fourth season in the PBL.
Oh, in the PBL, okay.
Yes.
And that's the, is it Premier?
Yes. Premier
Basketball League. It's a minor league. They play in that. Who are some of the other teams in this league you play?
We have teams in New York. We have teams in Indiana. We have a team in Detroit. A couple teams out of Chicago. So we're kind of stretched out all over the place right now.
Well, a lot of travel. A lot of travel. That's great. You've changed the roster some for this year. There's some faces gone, some new faces on. A lot of that is your coaching decision?
We just it's always to make a change. And our goal is to give guys an opportunity to get to the next level. This isn't just to play basketball and there's rec leagues for all of that.
Yes.
So we bring some new young guys in. I've got two new young 19-year-olds that'll be very exciting and dynamic to watch. I have some old names from here right around town. My youngest brother, Brett, will be playing with us this year. And then Brant Lightnecker will also be playing with us.
Another local name.
Yes, sir. And both were on the last Final Four team here in Lancaster. So, that'll be fun. We actually also have Derek Up, who was part of the Lancaster basketball program and also worked with Ohio State basketball. So we've got 5 guys now, as well as Tristan Pierce. We have 5 guys that are now Lancaster guys, local guys that are part of the program. So that's great.
And your season starts early January?
Yep, January 8th is our first game.
So a couple weeks away, you'll be rocking and rolling. You play your games out at Ohio University, Lancaster, out at the really nice gym out there.
Oh, yes.
Are tickets available? Can people get tickets anywhere?
Yeah, you can get tickets online. If you go to the Lancaster Thunder page or the Facebook page, there'll be a link there where you can buy tickets online or you can get them at the door. We definitely urge people to get tickets, online. It's much easier that way. But there's a couple different ways that you can get them. So,
I think you indicated just a second ago that again, there's rec leagues. If you just want to play ball with your buds, go play rec league ball. You can go to Columbus, play tons of that stuff
Absolutely.
up there. But the people you got, you have them with a reason. So maybe there's still a future to be had in basketball. And I know you've got one player that's actually got a tryout in another league. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
That's Twan Williams. He's played with us for the last 3 years. So a Mexico trip where he's getting an opportunity to play in front of a league of 14 teams and get an opportunity to be picked up, and that's been great.
And you're going to be doing some coaching down there, is that right?
Yeah, I kind of found my way in to slide in there and get an opportunity to coach. So traveling down there with him has been great.
Yeah. How hard has it been for you? In my mind, I always felt that coaches in baseball, probably in basketball, I always felt the best coaches were maybe the guys, in boys basketball we'll talk here, that weren't the exceptional kids. They weren't a Phil McKnight in high school, because I always felt that some of the kids that didn't get a play, they sat on the bench maybe and absorbed more of that information, and they became really good coaches. You don't see a whole lot of great kids become great coaches, but this is something you really enjoy, and I wondered how hard is it now for you to coach and not play, because that is your passion out there on the court. We know that. Was that a difficult transition?
It's somewhat difficult, but to be honest with you, I was a coach on the floor. And so at times it was hard for me to get away from trying to teach
Jack
guys.
Greathouse's coach even out on the floor.
Yeah, that's how it came down. I was the extension of him.
Yes.
I mean, he taught that a lot. And I mean, when I was in sixth grade, to be honest, I told him in sixth grade I was going to be a coach. I told him in sixth grade I was going to start for him and
Coach
play
Greathouse
for him.
then?
Oh, yeah. You could call him on the phone and he'll tell you the same thing. So I've known since I was 12 years old that I would be a coach. And it's just taken this opportunity to come around for us to be able to do something here in town and really give back to our community.
And the Lancaster Thunder does that. I know just a few weeks ago we had the Christmas parade, and we were down here doing that. Lancaster and Thunder was involved in that, handing out stuff, giving away things. And I think, and being a local boy like yourself, giving back to the community, that's a lot about what the Thunder is about.
Absolutely. We really believe that what we give to the community, it's more about what we give than what we get. And I try to preach that to the guys. For every positive, there's a negative. So we have to continue to give. We have to continue to give. People have to see those things. It's about who you are off the court. It's not about who you are on the court. Yeah, is that important? Absolutely. But it's more about who you are off the court. We have a young man, Sean Rogers, right now. I'm not sure. Many people might have heard of him. He's the local neighborhood hero, as they call him in Columbus right now. He drives the limo around. He's picking up kids that don't have a way to get to school. He takes 30 to 50 kids to school every day right now. And it's more about what you're doing for the people around you that need than what you're getting all the time. And we've got guys that really understand that. So we really want to give to the community and work that way.
And I can remember back in your day when you were there, Coach Greathouse was all about that, giving back to the community. I know he got the basketball team so involved in the community. You were out giving out dinners or giving out shirts or just being out there mentoring and tutoring. That's something. So at a very young age, when you went to coach, he was probably somebody I thought, well, that'd be a good role model.
Oh, yeah. That definitely groomed us to do those things. We made trips to the nursing homes to speak to folks that didn't have family that came around. We did the Captain's Club program. We would go around to the different elementary schools and, speak to those kids and do those type of things. So he definitely groomed us to be able to do those things and know exactly how to do and what not to do.
Well, I'm sure he's very pleased to watch how your career has gone here and gone into this coaching thing. So, what do we expect from the Thunder this year? Going to be a rock and rolling team up and down the court, going to move the ball?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to move the ball, find the right shot. We'll run exactly every time we get an opportunity to do so. We're a little bit much bigger this year than we have been in the past.
Size-wise, what are we talking?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about, I've got at least 5 guys that are 6'7" or taller. Ooh. So we're a little bit bigger.
Big.
Yeah, much bigger, but we still have those little guards that can do
ball handlers?
Ball handlers, and we've got great shooters. So we've got a great dynamic of, different guys that are going to bring a great brand of basketball to the court this year.
Now, you look last year, your first year as coaching, was it what you thought it would be at this level, being able to impart your wisdom? I guess I'm asking, maybe has basketball changed very much since you played?
The game has changed a lot, but, the best coaches evolve with the game.
Yeah.
And so that's why Coach K has been able to coach as long as he has, and he's stepping away this year. But he's been able to stay around so long because he's evolved with the game.
He's not the same guy that came out of Army 20-some years ago.
Right.
If he wouldn't have changed, he'd have been gone a long time ago.
Yes.
And that's probably something you see. You maybe you have to change your coaching a little bit with some of the people you get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you come down to, personalities.
Yeah.
You really have to be able to work with personalities, understand how to bring the best out of guys. And at the same time, be able to allow them to play to their strengths and away from their weaknesses. So a lot of times, it's just about how are you working with these guys? How are we getting them to work together cohesively as a unit? Are we a well-oiled machine, or are we just 5 guys out there just running amok?
Sure.
So that's the fun part. That's the challenge, and I think we're really taking that on really well.
Coach Phil McKnight here. He's our guest today, talking to him about the Lancaster Thunder. So your season begins in January. What's your season look like? How long is it? Where do you travel to all the places that the league has teams? Do you make it to every one, or the divisions? How's that set up?
So we have 2 divisions. We have an East Division. We have a Midwest Division.
Okay.
And then you play everyone in your division, and we do a crossover. So we do 2 crossover games. So it'll be a 10-game season.
Okay.
Season starts in January, ends in April. The finals will be the first week of May. So we have an all-star game, all those good things that come this year. So the great thing about it is our owner, David Fant, he's actually taken over the league. And we actually run the league at this point.
Nice.
So we're really doing a great job of trying to get things to run the way they're supposed to run, give everybody a quality opportunity, because ultimately it's about giving guys a chance to make it to the next level, to get overseas, to make that paycheck, to be able to do something that they love. So we're moving in the right direction, I will tell you that.
And there, you indicated that there is a good living to be made by people that play overseas too. I mean, I can't think of Aaron Kraft, who played for the Ohio State team that played up there every year, that does well in that TBT tournament. He made a good living playing overseas in Greece or Germany or one of these countries over there. So you don't have to be in the NBA to still continue to play and still do what you enjoy doing.
Exactly. The biggest thing about that is understanding the difference of culture and being able to be kind of a journeyman, kind of be on your own. You have to go to a different country and understand that there's rules there that you have to abide by. Can you get along with the guys that you play with? You might be there for 1 year. My youngest brother, Chris, he's in his 12th year right now, and he's been to 7 different countries. So as you move along, it's about who you are and your character, again, off the floor. How can you deal with different people? How can you adapt to different situations? So, those jobs are kind of only for certain people.
Sure.
It's a mindset.
Sure.
So can you deal and can you change and evolve? Again, we try to instill those things in these guys, and hopefully, Jae Twan's able to get that call here soon.
That'd be great. Where was LeBron in your age group? Was he older than you?
No, he was younger than me.
Younger
so,
than
yeah,
you.
he was
Did you
a freshman.
play? I remember when we played Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary, and him. Were you on that team?
No, I was not. I actually got a chance to watch him in high school, but I didn't. I watched him as a freshman. I watched him all the way through, but I did not get a chance to play against him.
Yeah, he was pretty gifted in high school.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he looked like a man with boys out there playing. I watched some of the highlights because they show Bronny, his son, playing, and then they'll show some shots of him, and well, he does things that high school kids just can't do. I mean, he just had it going on. I'm sure you could see that then, that he was going to be okay.
Oh yeah. Well, and his basketball IQ was through the roof, and everybody thinks it's about talent and what you can do athletically. It's honestly a mindset. It's what can you play the game here? Yeah. I asked the guys, because a lot of these guys play video games, right? So I asked them, do you play the game, or do you play the game?
Oh.
It's a difference.
Yeah.
Anybody can just get out there and play.
Sure.
But can you play when it counts? Are you able to think yourself through any of these situations and different things like that? So LeBron was definitely one of those guys that figured that out early in life.
Yeah, he knew. Well, it's fun having you on. Congratulations on being the head coach of the Lancaster Thunder. A credit to still playing and still keeping going. The dream's alive for so many people. Your Mexico trip, I mean, a lot of opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have had it not been for this. So really enjoy these years and enjoy it. Glad your brother's playing with you this year too. So come January, we'll be watching some good stories, and I know you'll be busy, but maybe we can squeeze in another interview while the season's going on. I'd like to talk with you again. Yeah. We catch you for a home game.
There we go.
Phil McKnight, who is the coach of the Lancaster Thunder, will be back on Fairfield Today in just a moment.
Fairfield Medical goes the extra mile to give attention to their patients, to their guests, anybody that comes within those doors.
There's no question that the staff there are all personally invested in seeing that I got the best care possible.
The staff was so comforting. I felt like she was in the best hands.
They basically gave me a second chance at life, and I'm going to make the most of it.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And I looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today, and again, Merry Christmas to you and all yours as we're almost here. The time is almost upon us, so we're glad you're with us as we get ready to kind of close down 2021 here on Fairfield Today. Pleasure to have back with us today a young lady who, we had her on before, and she was just an employee of the Lancaster Public Transportation Department here in town, the nice buses and vehicles you see driving around town, and now we get her back, and she is the director of Lancaster Public Transportation. That's Chasilyn Carter. Chasilyn, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
So when we had here before, I think our intent was, once upon a time we scheduled Carrie Woody on, but then she could not be on with us, so you filled in, and little did we know that would set you up for this moment when you're an old hand now at being on our TV show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On being named the director of Lancaster Public Transportation. Been almost 2 months?
Almost 2 months. Yes.
Almost 2 months now. Well, congratulations on that. Been challenging already in the first 2 months?
We have had some challenges, but we're working through them.
So this is really run by the city.
Yes.
I mean, the city is your overlord. They're the ones that do all that.
Yes.
So here we are, a week of Christmas. We got things coming up. Do you have any kind of? I was trying to think back on the conversations I'd had with Carrie Woody in the past. Did you schedule any special routes for Christmas or extended routes for the New Year's or anything different?
We are doing some community events. So we're doing the candlelight tour this Saturday.
Oh.
And we have, the Winter Fest. We're helping out. We're doing a little table at the Kids Fest Winter Fest. So we're doing some community events. We don't have any special holiday routes. We are closing down on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Sure.
New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so our employees can spend time with their
Sure.
families.
One thing I think about, and certainly if you watch any kind of news on TV, the hiring challenges out there. I think most of the time we talk about, we seem to see the restaurant businesses as the people that suffer the most. But I had the sheriff on last week, and he talked about even challenges at the sheriff's department where people were retiring. So it's a tough time for law enforcement. We know that. So they have some staffing issues. Has any of that hit you?
Oh, definitely. It's hitting, I think, pretty much every industry across the country. We have lost several drivers, but we are making a lot of progress on that. We have 3 drivers in training, 2 more going through their pre-employment, so we're definitely making headway there.
So I don't know if you have. Do you have several different size vans? Most of the ones I see are kind of the bigger ones with the windows around. Is that the standard size or the only size?
Yes, that's pretty much all of our vehicles.
Okay, now do you have to have a CDL or some type of license?
You do not, just your regular Class A.
Yeah. So when you do a background check, I suspect you have to have a pretty clean driving record.
You do, yes. Clean driving record, clean background, be able to pass an OD or a DOT physical, and then be able to pass our drug and alcohol screening.
So drivers and do they help people on and off, or do they just kind of sit there and people come and go and they just?
Yeah, so they do a lot. They do help load anyone with a mobility device onto our bus. They also help people with their packages, if someone needs help on and off the bus. We do have door-to-door service if a client needs it, and they'll walk them to the door. So they do a variety of functions.
Now tell us a little bit about how many routes you have here in Lancaster, and you do, other than that, you're in the county also?
Yeah, so our service runs throughout Fairfield County, and then when time permits, we do go beyond Fairfield County as well. We do a lot of transportation in and out of Columbus as well.
Okay.
So we have our 4 loop routes in town. We have 1 in Pickerington, and then we have several demand and response where people can call in and they can schedule their trip, and sort of like a taxi service, although there may be several stops along the way, being picked up at your home and taken to your destination.
So do you probably have regulars that use them every day to go to a job? I mean, that they count on that just like they would a bus or a taxi.
They do. We do a lot of school services, back and forth to work, doctor's appointments. We do a lot of transportation for the Board of DD, taking people with disabilities to their work centers. So we do a large variety of services.
And how long have you worked for I know you were there as an employee, so in total time, how long have you been involved?
It's been almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, and I've served different positions.
Yeah. So now you're the head dog. You're the big girl down there now at Lancaster Public Transportation. This is Chasilyn Carter. She's with us today to talk about that. So and you've only been on a couple of months, so you haven't, you're just getting your feet wet. But now you look forward to 2022. You'll shut down for some holiday things, and you'll be back in full go come January. And do you expect to see some changes, or should we expect to see some changes in the public transportation?
Yeah, so like I said, we're increasing our staff, so that will allow us to increase services in the new year. Our goal is to reorganize all the loop routes, make them a little more efficient, and maybe add a fifth route is our goal.
Okay.
So there will be some changes, hopefully coming early next year.
So are you completely staffed now, or you're just still gearing up?
We're still looking for a few drivers.
Okay.
So if anyone's interested.
How do they do that? How would they apply?
You can go to the city website, ci.lancaster.oh.us, and then just look up, job opportunities and bus operator and apply. We're pretty on that, so we'll get right back to you.
So again, they have to have I guess, a valid driver's license, and the things you'll look are probably what any kind of test like this would be. They would background check you. They check your driving record, probably drug test you, and all these things. You have to come back pretty clean to move forward.
Yes.
And what's the time then if somebody would first apply? If everything went as good as it could be, how long would it be from somebody that you hired to actually you could put them on?
So they'd have to go through the pre-employment test, and then depending on how long that took, we would have a 2-week training process. So
is that being with another driver? Is that how you train?
Yeah, they watch for the first week. They watch videos on everything that they do, and they're with a trainer, and they have discussions, and then they go on the bus and cadet and learn all the fun driving techniques. So.
And I guess anybody that's hired, they would probably could be on for any of the routes. They would have to be available to drive. Yeah, and what are the hours? What's the earliest and what's the latest you're out there?
So we start at 6 a.m.
Okay.
And then our demand and response ends at 6 p.m. We do have extended loops until 9 p.m. Right now we're temporarily suspended due to staffing, but we hope to open those back up at the beginning of the year. So, between any of those ranges, we are hiring part-time drivers, so the most probably about 29 hours a week.
Okay. And I know you have, again, you talked about your loops, and you see the signs out where a vehicle will stop, and it'll be there on a certain, 20 after the hour or whatever it is, but you do door-to-door service. So somebody would need your driving service. How far ahead would they have to call to schedule something?
We start taking reservations 2 weeks out, so they can call if they have an appointment on the 19th. They can call 2 weeks prior to that and start scheduling. So
could I call the day before?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The earlier the better, and
Yeah, and then they would just come to your address and then take you to where you are, and then you schedule a return visit.
Any needs or we can put that in our notes so our drivers are aware that there's something you may need.
I'm sure and I talked to Alex Lape again a week or so ago because he was a deputy prior to being the sheriff, and you were an employee prior to being the director of Lancaster Public Transportation. So it's a different view from when you're on top, when the buck stops here. Before, you could always ask, whoever your boss was there and see how that went. But is it what you expected, or is it in moments a bit overwhelming?
It can definitely be both. I mean, it's rewarding. I love, being able to lead a team, but there are times where I'm like, okay, what do I do? And
lucky you've done all the jobs probably that work for you. You've probably been in those positions where you understand some of the feelings of your staff.
Oh yeah, and you'll see me out driving because someone calls off last minute. Someone has to go. So I was just out driving yesterday.
And I guess I've never seen that, but I've only seen guys driving. Do you have any full-time or whatever you be full-time, but do you have female drivers?
Yeah, we do. We have.
So that's not a drawback in any way. Knowing how guys drive, it might be an improvement.
Yes.
But I enjoy seeing that now. I know you're funded, well, not funded maybe, but the city is your boss. But as I remember in talking with Carrie before you, a lot of grant things that are done for the grants. Is that kind of closed up a little bit with all the COVID restrictions?
No, actually, they just passed the infrastructure bill, so we're not quite sure what that's going to mean for public transit, but hopefully that means.
Last thing, we didn't talk a whole lot about that, but probably with the staffing, that's an issue. COVID, how has that been for you folks? Do you have to wear a mask when you're on the bus? Do your drivers have to wear masks, all that?
Yes, so the FTA just extended the mask mandate until March now, so the bus drivers and we ask all of our passengers to wear masks as well.
Sure. Well, you've got a big job, but I know you're up for it. Chasilyn Carter with the Lancaster Public Transportation. I know you're having a ball doing this. It's probably enjoyable. There are moments when it's less enjoyable, but I just know you're doing a great job. Carrie was a super boss to work for, and I know you learned a lot from there. And now you have your opportunity, and you'll put a great imprint on Lancaster Public Transportation. Chasilyn Carter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And From Shane and me here at Interface Video, we wish you a Merry Christmas from this end of it. And then from Bob Competti and everybody back at Interface Video, we wish you and yours have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll look forward to you with another couple of shows as we wind down for 2021. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.